Hello once again. Welcome and welcome back. My name is Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. I guess it's Sunday, May 10th, 2020. Happy Mother's Day, of course. And what a week it's been. There was another Free New York or Reopen New York rally just yesterday in Manhattan. I did go. I also got detained with a handful of other people. We did about 90 minutes hard time at the downtown precinct for the high crime of not buying into this media hoax hysteria and failing to bend the knee to these crooked, corrupt politicians. But I met some cool people. I got this pocket constitution. I got this government issue face mask, which I will not be needing. And that's incredibly ironic because we're basically detained for failing to maintain social distance. But then they put 9 of us into the back of a police van, take us to the station, and then have a New York City police officer put a mask on our face as we're handcuffed. So for weeks we're told, oh, maintain a distance, wash your hands thoroughly, and don't touch your face. But if a New York City cop puts a mask on you, that's okay. That's for your safety, no problem. So go ahead and check out my Instagram for some pics and video from the Free New York fiasco. And while that's all happening, we've got Governor Catcher's Mitt Face Cuomo talking about, 66% of the coronavirus cases come from people that were staying at home. Okay, so that's just another thing that you and the experts were wrong about. And now they're still crying about this second wave. Oh my God, I know we were wrong about everything up until this point, but trust me, you will die soon in the second wave if you don't do exactly as we say. It doesn't make sense. And now Cuomo has signed some executive order that extends his power. Now, I guess technically he hasn't, extended the lockdown, but he signed an order that gives him the power to, if he so chooses. And I said it in a previous video. The day that Cuomo voluntarily relinquishes this power will not come. Something else has to happen. Perhaps AG Barr can stand up to him. These protests are just going to continue. So we'll see how this all works out. And now they're talking about, oh my God, kids are getting sick. So before we were told, don't worry about it. The kids aren't affected. And now they're saying, well, actually, they're getting sick from a COVID-related illness, which is just vague enough to work. I mean, the symptoms are already vague. Oh, did you cough one time? Or do you feel sore? You probably got coronavirus. Did your son cough? He probably has coronavirus now, even though we told you that wasn't really possible about 6 weeks ago. But whatever, we got to pull on those we got to tug on those heartstrings because, the fear is sort of subsiding and we just can't have that. So the kids are dying now. You can't go back to work yet. Give it a rest. Kids get sick all the time. You ever heard of pink eye or ringworms? They're disgusting. All this sort of stuff happens to them, and we don't stop the world for it. And then we've got Neil Ferguson, a scientist, an expert, some might say, from the UK. This is the man behind these incredibly inaccurate models. 2 million people are going to die. We got to lock everything down, shut it all down, quarantine. Otherwise, the entire country is going to fall apart. No, you've locked everything down for far too long, and now the country is falling apart from an economic standpoint, you absolute morons. But what's obviously more hilarious about this is that this man was pushing for quarantine and lockdown and then gets caught breaking his own quarantine to shack up with his married mistress. These are the people we're listening to. And why are we taking advice from somebody from the UK? You couldn't find anybody in the States to come up with a little bit more accurate model? What am I missing here? And then we've got this salon owner out in Texas going super viral. She, reopened her business so that she could, maybe feed her family, but it just wasn't safe. And then she was sentenced to 7 days in jail for not apologizing to a crooked Democrat deep state judge. And then she was let out of jail by the attorney general or something out there. I'm not quite sure. But somebody over there just completely overrode the whole thing, let her out. It's all going super viral. Pun intended, maybe. I don't know. Either way. Ted Cruz went to go get his hair cut there. I'm sure she's crowdfunding through the roof, so I think she'll be okay. And God bless Texas for doing something right. San Francisco, on the other hand, just cannot get it together. We now know that they are giving free booze and weed to the coronavirus bums, and this doesn't make sense on multiple levels, but most importantly, the people, the homeless people of San Francisco who sleep in piles of poop surrounded by syringes weren't quite worried about the coronavirus. And they're not addicted to beer and weed. They are addicted to things like meth and crack and heroin. And we've already got a big enough problem. If you start doling out H to these junkies, there should be an uprising. And they're spending all this money for these people who, no shade, but they don't really have a quality of life. This is probably, pampered for them. You're spending more money on them than they've probably spent in the last 6 months. Now, you could fact check that. I don't know if those numbers add up, but that's not the point. The point is, it doesn't make sense, right? Very simply. Then we've got the entire Russia collusion hoax team and this Spygate people, these hacks, all being exposed. Brennan, Clapper, Comey, Schiff, Obama, Biden, Strzok, right? Lisa Page, all those people being completely exposed. Now we knew it was fake. We knew they were crooked and, acting incredibly political while pretending to be, the FBI, right? We all could see through it, but now we have proof. Will they face any consequences? Can we ask AG Barr to do something about it? I don't know. I don't think any of these people will ever face consequences for some strange reason that's beyond me. And this sort of brings me to my next point, is that while, the media is running cover for the Democrats, like, oh, well, they're not that bad. It happens in politics all the time, or whatever sort of, weird things they want to say to make the Democrats look like decent people. We now have this Ahmaud Arbery case, which, is sad, but I honestly don't care. It's a media hoax, right? Oh, white guys shoot black guys. Let's start another race war. But if I want to go full tinfoil hat, I'd ask, why is a shooting from February getting national news in May at the same time that the entire Spygate and Russia collusion hoaxsters are being exposed? Are those two things completely unrelated? And on top of that, this might just be a perfect way to usher us back into normalcy, because I can almost guarantee you that the Black Lives Matter protesters that come out to fight for this man, shout out to them, no problem, but I can almost guarantee you they will not be treated like criminals and arrested like I was just the other day. But that's just me. Who knows? So until the next one, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening.